Just fun. Yeah. I've never seen the park. Like I've been to Roche, and it's just like I've never gone there. Her dad makes sorts of So when she left, we were in offices. She went to upstairs to press, and then down about her slowly just drinking espresso. Now he's ready. St. Andrews.
I'll now call to order the August 5th, 2025 school board meeting of the Stanwood-Camano School District Board of Directors. All four of our current board directors are present. Director Murray, Evans, King, and Schreiber. Director Foster has resigned. Would you please join me for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, today we are offering two opportunities for the public to speak. Comments specific to the consent agenda will be allowed prior to the vote on those items. Citizens who have submitted a request to speak during the public comment section of the agenda will be called upon to make their comments at that time, which is near the end of the meeting. You have the agenda before you for the August 5th, 2025 regular school board meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the August 5, 2025 regular school board meeting as written?
Second.
Moved by Director
Murray.
And seconded by Director King. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The board has had the opportunity to review the July 1, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the July 1, 2025 regular board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Director King. Seconded by Director Murray. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. That passes unanimously.
No, I abstained from that vote because I wasn't there.
Okay, thank you. So noted. All right, it is time for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Director Schreiber. The first item on the superintendent's report today is the donations. So I'd like to read those. The first donation was for $698.90 from the Stanwood Middle School PTO to cover Stanwood Middle School transportation field trip to Skagit Skate. Next, $875.40 for the Elgin Bay Elementary PTA, from the Elgin Bay Elementary PTA to cover the EBE school field trip to Arrowhead Ranch and the Imagine Children's Museum. The third item is a donation from Ted and Rhonda Quillen of vintage Spartan memorabilia, athletic gear, and equipment valued at $600. Fourth item is $2,033.20 from the Stanwood Booster Club to cover transportation costs for the Stanwood High School Booster Club to cover transportation costs for the football team to football camp. Fifth item is for $1,416.10 for the Utsalati Elementary Booster Club to cover the the Utsalati Elementary school field trip transportation costs to the Camano State Park. which I saw pictures for, and quite fun, and the Imagine Children's Museum. Next, $1,625.70 from the Camano Schoolhouse Foundation to cover the transportation costs of the elementary school field trips to Camano City Schoolhouse. And lastly, $375.10 from the Twin City Elementary School PTA to cover the Twin City Elementary School transportation field costs to the North County Fire Station. So thank you to the donors once again. Across the district, it looks like we're represented. We really appreciate those donations. Next up on the superintendent's report is Ruth Floyd with the June financial report.
Good afternoon. Today I will review the June financial report. There were just a couple of things to highlight this month. Annual average FTE enrollment was 4,650 in June, 46 over budget, and about 28 above this time last year. There will continue to be revisions to the final annual average, and we'll post a final enrollment report to the website, district website, when that's complete. As mentioned in a prior meeting, general apportionment was paid at 0.7% lower this month than normally occurs in June due to legislative shifting of cash from one fiscal year from their fiscal year, current fiscal year, to the next. And it's also to the start of the legislative biennium. I mentioned that last month, and this is the month in which that happened. We will receive that apportionment that was held back next month in July. Okay. And the manager's report expenses through June are as expected. And our fund balance is fund balance through June is $4.8 million. That's about 5.4% of estimated revenues. June is normally our lowest cash flow month due to fewer tax collections, and then as mentioned, it's actually lower than it normally would be due to that holdback of the apportionment. And then our object summary. Object summary reflects a larger decrease than normal in encumbrances, which will write itself next month when contracts that start on July 1 are encumbered. And then this is our fund balance status report. You'll notice that on the second page of the general fund balance status report that the unassigned fund balance near the bottom there is negative by approximately $300,000. This is a transitory situation that will right itself in July due to June being the lowest cash flow month for the district and pretty much all districts in the state. And so once we receive that increased apportionment in July and August, you'll see that will turn positive before the end of the fiscal year. Capital projects encumbrances have increased significantly in preparation for payment on our summer projects that I'm sure you're all seeing being worked on throughout the district. It's fun to see all that happening. And debt service fund has those June bond interest payments shown there for June that will be basically the last payment for the fiscal year. We'll receive some additional taxes throughout the summer, but debt service as far as expenditures is pretty much done. And then ASB fund. ASB fund shows typical revenues and expenditures. Did I do that right? Yes, hard to see. Shows typical revenues and expenditures for this time of year. And then Transportation Vehicle Fund, our last budgeted fund, has very little activity for the remainder of the year, actually, until those buses that you see encumbered there are received in the fall.
Do we know when those should be done?
We don't have exact date yet, but hopefully in September, but definitely in the fall. And then our budget capacity report is as expected. Most of the June capacity changes have had revenues to offset those costs. And then our food services report continues to show expected revenues and expenditures for this time of year. That is the last page, but I can answer any questions that you might have.
The 0.7%, do you, off the top of your head, have a ballpark idea of what that is, dollars?
Well, what happened was we received some additional funding that occurred with the legislative session. They gave us $50 per FTE, and they actually gave that to us in June.
Okay.
And then, so a lot of the amount that they held back was brought back by this additional $50 per pupil. So all in all, we were reduced about net $125,000 to $150,000.
Okay. And this participation for the food service, that's like summer school and our summer feeding program.
The June is mostly the just the end of the school year.
Okay.
And then usually during the summer, we'll have a little note at the bottom that discusses the summer,
And so we'll get that next month?
July and August. Parts we have those numbers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ruth. That's the end of the superintendent's report today.
Thank you, Superintendent Camano. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Anyone in attendance may speak to the items contained in the consent agenda and only those items contained in the consent agenda at this time. This is not the portion of the meeting for open public comment on items outside of the consent agenda. That will be coming up soon. Are there any board directors who wish to pull any items from the consent agenda for discussion? Are there anyone in attendance that would like to speak to any of the items contained in the consent agenda? No one online? Okay. Seeing no raised hands then, is there a motion to approve consent agendas item 1 through 12? Moved by Director Evans and seconded by Director King. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That passes unanimously. Okay, that then brings us to public comments. And we only have one.
I don't see this gentleman in attendance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, items, topics scheduled for board discussion. We have 4 items. First one is the approval, the first reading of board policy 34210, non-discrimination. Any discussion on that?
3210, right? 3210?
Correct.
Okay, just.
That one is, okay. Then we have consensus to move that on to a second reading. Item number 2, the approval of the first reading on board policy 5010. I'm going to make this bigger. You get new glasses. Non-discrimination and affirmative action. Any discussion on that? Consensus to move that to a second reading? Okay. Item number 3, approve the first reading, board policy 5260, personnel records. Any discussion on that policy? Okay. Consensus to move that to a second reading. Okay, item number 4 is our board vacancy. We need to replace Director Foster, who resigned effective the 1st of August. And you have before you some draft material, the invitation to apply for the school board director for District 4, the vacancy on the Stanwood-Camano School Board that would be going out there, and the application to fill the board of director vacancy, District 4, that we have used in the past for when Director Christofferson resigned and when Director Myers resigned. I think it's the same one we've been using all along. And then there's a proposed timeline at the end there, and I think we need to decide how long of a period we want to keep that open for people to apply, either 2 weeks or 3 weeks typically. So discussion on filling the board vacancy.
I think with it being summer and prime vacation time for everybody to be out, I think the longer the window, the better. So my suggestion would be 3 weeks, just again to give people the opportunity if they're out of town or anything like that. That would be my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you, Director. Director Murray?
I
Agree with
agree.
that. And Director King?
I'm okay with 3.
And I am also agreeing to 3 weeks there. So, and we're okay using the previous form that we've used before.
Yeah, I'm happy to use this form. I've also asked for a little bit of a language change. There was an "or" in one of the statements, and so we're going to fix that because it should be under the certifying language
Okay,
at the bottom.
citizen of the United States and the state of Washington and a registered voter, either in the school district
It should
or,
be "and."
and the app, yes, it needs to be someone residing in District 4.
Correct.
Okay, we're all in agreement on making that change?
I had a question. So on question number 2, it says, what do you perceive are the most critical issues facing the board of directors? While I agree that that's probably a great question, could we also add something about maybe, like, what do we think are the critical issues facing the district? I don't see anything, like, I see how could you effectively, but I guess I'd kind of like to get at where they see, yeah, like where they see what would be some issues or some opportunities, or, you know what I mean? Like, does that, I don't know how to express exactly what it is, but like, what do they think are the problems with the district? I think we all have an idea of what we think is the biggest problem, but.
So growth opportunities for the district as a whole,
Yeah.
as opposed to just the board.
Both.
Okay.
Could we add like a part 2, like a subset?
And?
Yeah,
Okay, we can make that adjustment.
yeah.
Our superintendent's in agreement to that. Do we have consensus to make that change as well?
Yes.
Okay, we have consensus there. Thank you, Director Evans. Okay, any other discussion on the board vacancy? You have the timeline there that was recommended, and we used the 3-week. So the application period will be open from August 6th through August 26th.
Can we agree that after the 3, so if we agree to the 3 weeks now, so once we have the applicants in, can we agree that we will solicit, like send out an email soliciting multiple time slots for these other steps along the way so that the directors can check their schedules and make sure that the times selected are conducive for everybody?
Okay.
So like, instead of saying like, it's on the 26th, so once we have those, we say, once we have our applicants, it's like, here's 3 times to select from, vote for the ones that's the most convenient for you, so that way we have a consensus of availability, because we have a history of unilaterally designing days and times, and so I would just like to make sure that there's some input put in, or at least some understanding that some of us work and have to have a little bit of flexibility with the schedule.
I think we'll leave that up to staff, who normally send out a request for the invitation to find the best time for that, if you could do that.
Yeah, knowing that the nominations will close on the 26th, we can send out recommendations for a survey for when dates for the following points along the process would be given.
I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Director Evans. Other comments on the board vacancy? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to Board Director's report on business conducted, starting with Director Evans.
Goodness, it's been kind of a whirlwind of summer / crazy, so I don't know that I have a whole lot to report on. I will say it is primary day, so make sure you get your ballots turned in, vote. We at the district may not have anything on the ballot, but there are a lot of government entities in our area that do, so make sure your voice is heard in the primary, not just the general election. So get those turned in by 8 p.m. today. Thank you.
Director Murray?
I agree with Director Evans that summer is kind of come and gone, and I'm kind of not quite sure where it went. But I do really love going into the parade and the fair and seeing everyone come back together. It's like the start of, it's not the first day of school, but it's definitely that first step towards preparing for coming back to school, everyone reconnecting after being gone for summer, and I just love seeing all that, and congratulations to our high school students that won one of the trophies during the parade. So yeah, I mean, this weekend was great, seeing lots of people at the fair and community and that, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Director. Director King?
Yeah, well, I've been reviewing payables for the last 7 months, learning a lot. And I've adjusted with how our system works.
Thank you. And just a reminder, the Caring Place is this month has opportunities for people that need school supplies and that. So I would just point that out. And tonight is National Night Out here in Stanwood from 6 to 8. Over behind the police station, by the train station there. And I believe the school district will have representation there. So I'll let you comment on that.
Great, yes. We'll have representation with the school bus at National Night Out tonight downtown, and also out at Terry's Corner where Camano will be represented as well. So we'll have representation at both those sites. We like to see everyone out there to celebrate where neighborhoods come together for public safety. We have another celebration from the Stanwood-Camano Area Foundation. They just awarded the district a $29,000 $500 grant, and this is in support of kindergarten readiness initiative, and it'll be used for purchasing library books for our pre-K students. So very thankful to staff always, but especially around this initiative. We actually felt like it was the first day of school around here in this office yesterday, so I definitely understand what you're saying with regard to the fair and the parade and kind of the turning of the page in summer. So busy time with the fair and the parade, but also, as you know, around construction in the district. Thank you to our capital projects team, Ruth Floyd and Jeff Silverman, for keeping those moving along. You might see, if you live in the Cedar Home neighborhood, you see the roof already going on, which is a good thing to see, and paving happening at our transportation headquarters. So that's ahead of schedule, and we appreciate that. So thanks for those teams. And we're looking forward to starting to see students around the building. We have summer school running right now, about 150 high school students engaged in summer school at the high school, and 38 plus third graders at Twin City Elementary getting right up to speed before the start of school. So we're thankful for that. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. There being no further business, the August 5th, 2025 regular board meeting is hereby adjourned.